Hi guys, it's me, Paige. Welcome back. And I want to thank everybody for all of their amazing comments from my last video. I'm so glad that I was able to help some people. My ultimate goal here with these videos is to maybe help somebody out there who might be going through what I went through last year with my awakening process. My enlightenment, becoming conscious. And I would like to help others raise consciousness because let's face it, most people are not completely conscious, if at all conscious. I like to call them sleepwalkers. If you ever noticed some people just really not quite there, just walking around like zombies, robotically doing the same things over and over and over again. Or surface level conversations that are really difficult to have once you are awakened and conscious to a lot deeper, a lot more meaningful things in life, aside from surface level relationships. Anyway, this leads me to a question to you. Are you still willing to be shaped by the world around you? Or are you ready to start shaping your world? This is a great question to ask yourself because we do create our own realities. And how do we do that? With our thoughts. Yes, it starts from right in here, individually. We all create our own realities from our subconscious mind. And there's a lot of science to back that up and a lot of information that I have for you. I'm going to try to share them in bits and pieces within different videos, but I wanted to share with you, I was going through old notebooks and journals that I write a lot. I try to write every day. I always write when I'm discovering something about myself. And this was kind of when I discovered true consciousness through presence, through the thought patterns of the mind. And I just wanted to read to you what I have written here. So let's start. You can never look outside of yourself for inner peace. Even with the greatest material wealth, if you're looking outside of yourself for pleasure, fulfillment, validation, security, or love, you won't find what you're truly searching for. Your true nature of being beyond name and form. The greatest obstacle to experiencing your true being to inner peace? Identification with the mind. This causes thoughts to become compulsive. Not being able to stop thinking is a real and dreadful affliction. But we don't even realize this because almost everyone is suffering from it. So it's considered normal. The incessant mental noise of our mind prevents inner peace. It also creates a false mind-made self, the ego, that casts a shadow of fear and suffering, continuous conflict within and without. Identification with the mind and its thoughts creates an opaque screen of concepts, labels, images, words, judgments, and definitions that blocks all true relationships. It comes between you and yourself, between you and other people, between you and nature, between you and the universe. Yes, there is another consciousness floating out there, a stream of consciousness that you can get tapped into when you're present and you're conscious. You have to, find the skills, the tools to quiet the mind and really find your inner peace. This is how you find this. And I'll walk you through that in another video. So, where was I? Thoughts that create this illusion of separateness, that there is you and a totally separate others. You forget the fact that underneath the level of physical appearances and separate forms, you're one with all that is. You can no longer feel the connection. And I'll tell you, most of us had this connection when we were children. Most of us lost this connection by the time we were age 7. That is another scientific fact I'm stumbling upon, and I will, once it's a little further along, I'll share that with you as well. So this is important the thought patterns that we pass on to our children, we want them to be positive. Positive for themselves, feeling good about themselves. Anyway, thinking has become a disease. Disease happens when things get out of balance. The mind is an incredible instrument, and if used properly, it can become, the mind is an incredible instrument if used properly. And it can become very destructive if used improperly. To which I'd like to add that we typically don't use the mind at all. It uses you. This is the disease and the delusion. You believe you are your mind and the instrument has taken over you. Can you be free of your mind at will? Have you found the off switch? If you can't switch your mind off, then the mind is using you. You're unconsciously identified with it, so you don't even know you're its slave. It's as if you've been possessed without knowing it, and you think the possessed entity is you. When you realize this, you're at the beginning of freedom. Knowing this allows you to observe the thinker and activates a higher level of consciousness. You will also realize that there's a vast level of intelligence beyond thought. That anything that truly matters, love, beauty, joy, creativity, inner peace, all arise from beyond the mind, and you begin to awaken. Within the human mind, there's a voice or voices that will always comment, speculate, judge, compare, complain, like, dislike, etc. And the voice may not even be relevant to the situation you find yourself in at the time. It may be reviving your recent or distant past, or rehearsing and imagining possible future situations. Here's where it often imagines things going wrong and negative outcomes. This is called worry. Even if the voice is relevant to the current situation, it will interpret it in terms of the past. This is because the voice is your conditioned, programmed mind, the result of your past history and the collective culture mindset you inherited. You see and judge the present through the eyes of the past and get a totally distorted view of the present. Many people live with torment of the mind, which thoughts continue to attack and punish them, draining them of vital energy. The good news is we can all free ourselves from our thoughts from the mind. The first step is to listen to the voice in our head as often as possible. Pay attention to repetitive thought patterns playing for years. Don't judge the voice or condemn what you hear. This is sensing your own presence. The thoughts lose power when present and witnessed. You are no longer energizing the mind through identification with it. This is the beginning to the end of involuntary and compulsive thinking. And with that, I want to bring to your attention one other thing that I wrote. This is based off of the ancient Essenes, a culture that dates back before Christ. To manifest a reality that you desire requires not only the thought, but the belief and the feeling, the emotion, as if you already had that desired effect. A desired person, place, thing, job, you name it. It requires a thought process of the desired object or thing or situation as if you already were in it or had it. When thoughts, feelings, and emotion become one, we can literally change our world, rearrange atoms of matter, move mountains through the belief waves that emanate from our heart. When we're experiencing judgment and ego, we're not in our heart. It's coming from our mind. which is your inner child, fear-based thoughts. One more thing I wanted to quickly bring up. In conversation with someone, as we were discussing the energies currently with the moon and the planetary transits, a lot of emotions have been stirred up in a lot of people. There have been a lot of energies coming through, pushing people to purge old thought patterns and behaviors, which doesn't feel good. It feels like you're being attacked by the universe or a person or a situation. But it really is just trying to, hey, look at what your thought pattern is, getting the hamster off the wheel. So with that, my advice always is to see it as a mirror in front of you, and it's reflecting back to you some information about yourself that you need to look deeper into. Usually it's something that, if it's a negative emotion, if it's positive, you don't need to do anything. We're talking about negative emotions that we want to get rid of, that thought pattern within our mindset. My first, what I like to tell people, this is what I've found helpful for me, and I'll tell you why, is when I'm triggered by something or someone that gives me a negative emotion, I now stop. I allow myself to feel that emotion, identify it, fear, anxiety, anything not good feeling. And I try to dig back deep to my inner child. When was the first time I felt this emotion? Because that's the first time that programming was put into my mind, that this is a fearful thought or a painful thought, an angry thought, a situation that causes this negative emotion. So I was asked, why do we have to dig so far down? And I can honestly tell you that if you don't, the universe, the energies will continuously bring it to your attention in one way, shape, or form through another person, situation, event, and you will relive it constantly until it's completely purged. So trying to find that inner child, that way back when you were young, when the first time you felt that emotion, try to find it, dig it up, let it heal, let it go, and forgive. Forgive whomever or whatever it was that happened to you. Because honestly, we've all experienced trauma in our life, one way or another. So I like to walk in the world knowing that my pain is not any greater than anybody else's. The mountains that I've climbed and what I've overcome, everybody else has the exact same challenges in a different way, shape, or form. So we all have challenges in this world. So it's hard. Don't judge other people. Don't judge other people when you feel being attacked by them. They're really actually giving you a gift. They are pointing to you something inside of you that you need to look at and get rid of. Self-esteem, anything. So that's my piece of advice for today, and I hope it helps somebody out there, or all of you, anybody that's watching. I will touch base a little deeper on the topic in my next video, and I'll also go into more manifesting a new way of life, a new reality, a little deeper as well, and how it actually dates back to the ancients, and how we can change our thought patterns. We can change our thought patterns, change our life around, and eventually change the world, one person at a time. You've got to be the change to see the changes you want to see in your outer world. I love you all, and I hope you have a great evening. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.